But Balaji, you wanna ask a question?
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Kennedy, I've been impressed with your sophistication on a number of issues related to peace, civil liberties, CBDCs, Bitcoin. I really only have one question. It relates to our financial system. The short version of it is, will you be able to dig into the devaluation of treasuries and other government bonds by the Fed? As a little bit of background, the Fed has turned treasuries into the new toxic waste. A series of ill-considered moves has turned the so-called safest asset in the world into the riskiest asset in the world and set the stage for a second financial crisis. Stanford estimates the bond losses to be in the trillions. Dalio says they extend far beyond banks to pension funds, insurance companies, and other institutions. Nouriel Roubini says most banks are technically near insolvency and hundreds are already fully insolvent. The Guardian says banks' unrealized loss on bond portfolios are sufficiently large as to represent systemic risk. And Euromoney says U.S. Treasury bonds no longer meet the standards for high-quality liquid assets. Right now, this bond crisis is being downplayed or blamed on everyone other than the Fed and Treasury. But fundamentally, Treasury sold assets in 2021 that Fed then devalued in 2022, undercutting the balance sheets of countless banks and other financial institutions. In short, Fed lied, banks died. Treasuries are the new toxic waste. The Western financial system as a whole blown its bedrock asset, and a second global financial crisis is brewing. There are no obvious paths out of this that don't involve printing a lot of money. So while I recognize it's a somewhat arcane sounding topic, just like subprime and CDOs unfortunately once were, will we be able to dig into the devaluation of treasuries and other government bonds by the Fed?
And that's your question? I wish you hadn't prefaced it by saying I had so much sophistication on every issue because my only answer here is that
Yes.
will you please be my Treasury Secretary? Because I'd like you, if you got a solution, I want to hear it.
I don't have lots of solutions. I can tell you what I think the problem is, but we can talk about it afterwards if you want.
I would
I
love
can show
that.
you all the graphs.
I would love that. And
Okay, great.
I do, I have a deep and long time concern about that has been deeply ingrained in my family for generations about um, just the out of control nature of the Fed, and and the impact of the Fed not only on the global money supply and but on democracy and on personal freedoms, etc. And my uncle tried to do something about that by at least recoupling the money supply to base currency, to gold and silver. And he, initiated during his term gold certificates and silver certificates where which would at least have some part of the money supply that was that could not be easily manipulated because it was attached to the base currency. But after his death, we went back to a full fiat currency, and that's I think that the root of all of the issues, ultimate issues that you're talking about right now. And I do not have a high enough level of sophistication to be able to sit here and tell you that I have a simple answer to it. I've talked to a lot of people, and I've gotten a lot of different answers about how do you address it, but nobody claims that there's a panacea. But we're about to hit a wall, and we're already watching people lose faith in our credit and our currency, and the U.S. dollar is now being threatened with losing its status as the world's reserve currency. Brazil has already signaled that it's moving away to the China, adopting Chinese currency. Saudi Arabia, Argentina, Pakistan, many other countries are, and that will be a cataclysm for the United States. That will make the Great Depression look like a cakewalk. And so I know I understand the emergency nature of trying to figure out a way that can to deal with this crisis. And I would love to talk to you about it if you have ideas, and anybody who thinks that they can help solve this problem.
All right, sounds good. I know we could spend the whole show just talking about these issues. We only have a few minutes